Max Major, and today's video is about limitless energy. It's my story about how I conquered brain fog and chronic fatigue to be performing now at the highest levels of my life. If you have issues with either of these things, stay tuned. For as long as I can remember, I've been tired. I've been plagued by chronic fatigue and brain fog. And I assumed for the longest time that I just wasn't a morning person. But you see, it wasn't just mornings. It seemed that no matter what time I woke up and no matter how long that I slept, I was still tired. And this led to a problem called oversleeping, something that's really hard for some people to relate to. As best I can describe it, it's this. You wake up in the morning, you've slept for 8 hours, you are still tired, and so the logical thing to do inside of your head is to sleep more. Oh, I'm still tired, I must need more sleep. Oversleeping actually leads to you being even more tired, so the effect kind of just snowballs. I've never had an issue actually falling asleep. I lay down, I'm out, 8 hours later, I wake up feeling worse than I did the night before. And this has been incredibly frustrating for me because I never lack for motivation. I'm extremely passionate about what I do. I'm in great shape. I take care of myself. I eat right. I go to the gym, and it just makes no sense. Why am I always tired? And so about a year ago, I decided it was time to conquer this. And I tried everything. At first, I bought a bunch of gadgets and gizmos, things that I thought would make it easier for me to wake up. I got an alarm clock that would gradually wake you up like a sunrise with light. And so instead of being woken up by noise, you're woken up by light. I tried coffee. No matter how much coffee I drank, it didn't matter. I was still tired. Caffeine didn't work. I read studies online that you needed to wake up early every day at the same time, and that this would create a habit. And so for 30 days, I woke up every day at 5 a.m. I was still tired. Now obviously I managed to get through my day, but it was with excruciating discomfort. If you've never experienced something called brain fog, imagine walking through your own life almost as if you are in a zombie state. And so you're sort of aware of the conversations you're having with people, but you're almost detached from that moment, and you're fixated heavily on the headache that you have, how tired you are. So here's what I've discovered. If you're falling asleep, but you're still feeling tired the next day, there are two potential issues. One is a problem with your sleep. Number two is a problem with what you're putting in your mouth, the food that you're eating, or perhaps a combination of the two. Let's start with sleep. When it comes to sleep, there are three potential problems. One is a problem with your hardware, an actual problem with your breathing apparatus, something that can't be fixed through lifestyle. This is known as sleep apnea. The way you need to find out about this is by going to get an overnight sleep study. It's the only way to be diagnosed. Second problem you could have is with sleep hygiene. These are the things that you do leading up to bed or even 12 hours before you go to bed that can have an impact on the quality of sleep you have at night. Third problem could be with your sleep environment, how light or dark your room is, the kind of mattress you're using, your bedding, all of these things being factors. So I started in the conventional way by trying to attack my sleep. I went to a sleep study, I stayed overnight at Georgetown University Hospital, and I found out that I actually have mild sleep apnea. What this means is that I either stop breathing or have shallow breathing at multiple times throughout the night. And they suggest that I take drugs, that I take one pill to help me go to sleep at night and to prevent my legs from moving, and a second drug to help wake me up during the next day. But the one thing my doctor never brought up, the one thing we never discussed, and she as a specialist, was what I was eating, the food that I was putting into my mouth. It should be noted that my sleep apnea was mild, and once corrected by eliminating my allergies through a 7-day water fast and reducing the amount of gluten in my diet, that while my level of fatigue mildly improved, my brain fog remained paralyzing. And this is where I had a real breakthrough. You see, I've tried to remove everything from my diet that could potentially be an allergen. I thought it was eggs at first. That didn't do the trick. I thought it was gluten. That didn't do the trick. I thought it was dairy. Here's the caveat, didn't do the trick at first. You see, I thought I had removed dairy from my diet. I don't really eat cheese, I don't drink milk, but I do have cream in my coffee every morning, and on top of that, every day of my life, since I was 17 years old, I have taken this. Whey protein. So while I realized I had removed dairy from my diet, I never actually stopped taking whey protein. Every day of my life for the last 15 years, taking a protein shake was actually causing significant damage to my body and brain fog. Now, I'm not saying that whey protein is bad for everyone. In fact, it's not. It's a really healthy supplement for people who do not have a sensitivity to it. But for me, the moment I removed whey protein from my life, I was transformed. The first day without whey protein, I woke up and I started to feel better. The second day without protein, I felt great. The third day without whey protein, I felt better than I ever have in my entire life. Look, I am 31 years old, and right now, after having this out of my system for a week, I feel like I have more energy than I had at my healthiest state when I was 18 or 21 years old. My energy is through the roof. I feel I have an obligation to share this with the world. I have been struggling with fatigue and with brain fog and with sleep apnea for almost my entire life. It turns out the whey protein that I was taking was causing congestion and causing brain fog. The congestion causing breathing trouble at night, the brain fog making my life miserable during the day. If you're suffering from anything like what I've just described, I hope that this video can help point you in the right direction in your own journey. I know that for me, this has been my formula to unlimited energy, but for you, it may not be the same path. But I do know that you should never settle. You should never compromise about your health, and you should never take a drug to feel the way that you should be able to feel naturally.